Hey everyone, it's Summer with AstariaSen, and today we are doing the final two chapters in Emily Carding's Faery Craft book. It is chapter 7 and chapters 8. I did these two chapters together for one main reason, and that is chapter 7 is a lot of interviews, and chapter 8 is about the septagram balance. It's got a meditation and then a story by Emily Carding. So I wanted to kind of do them together because they kind of, the last chapter, chapter 8, is only a few pages long. And chapter 7 is super, super long. So I figured I'd just do them both together. Now, chapter 7 is really interesting. Like, I've been looking forward to chapter 7 this entire book. There are interviews in here with so many different kind of artists and people who are fae folk or otherworldly or there's all sorts of stuff. That's amazing, all the interviews that she got, and they're interesting. They're very, very interesting. She talks about traditional paths and R.J. Stewart. She has an interview with him, and I love how he looks. Look at him. Isn't he great? And I'm going to look more of these people up because I didn't know some of them. She's got an interview with John and Caitlin Matthews, which they do shamanism. And I think when I was reading it, yeah, it's the fairy realm interacts with shamanism too with them as well. They do talk about fairy Wicca. They talk about radical fairies, which is a movement more than it is an actual religion or something like that. Is like a movement within the religious aspect of it. Then she talks about other kin and how people believe in the other kin, like they are fae specifically. They believe themselves to be fae, and she actually has an interview with they're called the Silver Elves, Zardor and Flame, and they are a married couple who are silver elves. So I thought that was really interesting too. The whole interview is very intriguing. She's got the Elven Path in here. She talks about the fairy tradition, like Feri, that one, and Teethorn Coil. There's an interview in here with that one too. There is also she talks about the resurgence of fairy in art specifically. So she talks about Brian and Wendy Froud. She has an interview with them, which is so exciting. I was so excited for that one. It's fantastic. And then there is who else is in here? We have Mark Potts and Kelly Martinez, an interview with them. And I mean, the art is fantastic. Like, it's not colored, but she included the art in here, and the art is fantastic. And I just love I love how she did the interviews, how she talked about the fairy, how she talked about the inspiration, how she talked about the artist. I just, well, how they talked to each other. There's even one with Linda Ravenscroft. And she talks about musicians, like the different musicians that go to like fairy festivals and incorporate their music into that and are, included in the fairy festivals. And then she talks about writers, the people who are influenced, the writers who are influenced by fae, which is really cool too. I haven't heard of most of them, so I'm totally looking them up as well. I can't help it. And then she has some suggested activities back here, and one of them that I really liked was it's called Create, and it says it might be interesting to trace your sources of inspiration. In this information age, it is easy to do research on the background of those who have inspired you. Draw out a family tree of inspiration with yourself in the roots, moving up to your main sources of inspiration, those who inspired them further up the branches, and so on. See how far you can get. And there's a little bit more that goes with that. But that sounds fascinating. So I'm going to do that in my journal, I think. And then the last chapter, chapter 8, is balance. And she talks about the core of the septagram. That's where it is balance. And she talks about you standing as the sun. Okay. And this is supposed to be an outside like exercise. It's called walking the septagram, but you can do it internally, just like internally if you can't do it outside. So I thought that was really cool. And then her story, the Raven King's Daughter. And it is several pages long. It's a really cute story. And then she has the acknowledgments, in which she talks about the spirits and fae and stuff like that. And then her bibliography in the back is pretty decent, I think. And then she also has an index back here where you can find things. So that is literally the end of the book. And I am very pleased with reading it. I learned a lot in this book. I've put a lot of the practices of this book into play, like with my altars and stuff like that. And then some of the stuff will be this spring and summer because I did this over the winter. um, so I'll be incorporating a lot more of the exercises throughout the entire book. More this summer. So this is going to be a really good reference book. I'll be able to reference back to this consistently, and I probably will more often than not. Just because I don't memorize things super well. So I like the reference, being able to look back, and I can do the meditations. I might even, some of the meditations that are in here, I might actually record on my phone so that when I'm out there, I can just play the meditation instead of trying to read the meditation, and work with nature while the meditation is going that way. And yeah, so next is a lot of different stuff. I'm reading another book. It's not so much a workbook, but I have been reading Fae books. I've been doing reviews, and I'll leave links in the card section up here for the books, some of the books that I've done book reviews on. Some of them are fairy books, some of them aren't. But I do plan on doing a lot more this summer with the Fae, and this book has really encouraged me to do that. And I think it's a good resource for somebody who is learning, for somebody who may not know as much, for somebody who wants to know like how to get in contact or how to reach out or how to start in their fairy path. It's helped me a lot. It's opened my eyes to a lot of different things that I hadn't considered before. And I'm thankful that I got the book. I know it wasn't a super cheap book or anything, but I'll be using it over and over and over again. And it's a very valuable resource in my library. So I'm going to continue using it. And I'd like to know what your guys' thoughts are after reading the whole thing, Let me know in the comments. I'll have a discussion with you, and I'll probably be checking back on the series of videos as people comment. So thanks so much for watching me on my fairy journey. Well, at least with the Emily Carding book. And I hope you guys have a very wonderful time doing your series with this book, or your exercises, not series, your exercises with this book. And I hope they go very well for you, and I hope you have a very great day.